Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so on earth. Give us day by day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we also forgive everyone that is indebted to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. In Jesus, all that, in Jesus Christ, all my precious name. I believe in the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus, by the blood of His grace and mercy and saving. In Jesus Christ, Baruch Hashem, and the peace of Jerusalem. In Jesus Christ. Amen. Princess, come here. Princess, hey, hey, stop. I know you had nothing to do with it, but you okay? Hmm. Let's only do one thing. Yeah, I'll let you out on that deck there, hopefully. But you don't have to bark, sweetie. We're okay. You're all right. Yeah, I know. You just trying to do your job, but you give me a headache. You don't got to bark now for a while. If I take a nap, then if you hear something, you bark, okay? Otherwise, we're all right. You don't gotta bark, girl. Give me a headache. Please, honey, it's all right. Good morning. I got woken up just maybe probably half hour too early. I got that thing called the roommate, but that's all right. I mean, we manage. Could have used that extra half hour to get through the whole day, the next 18 hours since well, that's right, I was up till about 2:30 or 3, but hey, that's how I go. Which, this guy here, I mean, see, this is why you can't trust what this guy is saying. You got to start to trust me. Now he said, oh, you bad nothing him again. Nah, I never did. I always told the truth. He said, come on, tell us, what's happening, son? I said, hey, you know how them people get old in that billboard out there? Yeah. You're like, come on. And you're like, remember that thing? It says roles change. I'm pretty sure what that means is eventually, remember how old Campaign Kai started to remind me. He said, hey, doctor, lawyer, accountant. I was like, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You ain't being too mean yet. Keep talking. Remember, I told you what else did I take? Bowl power, water. So we're trying to find 1 acre power of water. Yeah, keep talking, Kyle. You ain't being a peckerwood yet. Come on. And you're like, coffee. Well, Kyle's an interesting one because he was. Remember how I kind of told you that he was kind of nice, but he turned on me like a junkyard dog. See, with all them other secret doctrines and stuff. Now I don't know if it was that time of the month or what, but all of a sudden I didn't trust that guy. Then you said, well, how could you trust a guy that lets them people hang? We paying them like $50 an hour to listen to them crazy mofos, right? Well, you say you used to be able to talk, and you like to talk a little bit sometimes. So you appreciate that First Amendment, and so you don't like them red dots, and you don't like to waste your time, and you don't like old Mr. Wilson. He says, don't. Oh no, that was that other Wilson. Boy, they got a lot of Wilsons to keep track of. You're saying, hey, you're saying that guy he's saying, Nicky boy, you're not real smart. You might want to get, hey son, look, I'm going to give you a pass because you remember like them Howards and shit that came over on that boat with them pilgrims? Yeah, they know a couple of people and they told me that, hey, be nice to that guy. And they're like, hey, and you're like, but you're kind of stupid, and I really don't think you're going to probably be an accountant, but you might not want to sit there for 2 hours spinning your wheels on one question. And I said, I know, I'm not sure where that came from, sir. I think it's that ADD because I'll sit there all day on one question. And I've gotten better because in order to be successful in life, not only is that Pete Buttigieg and it's not, we don't call people midgets, we call them small people. And we understand there's going to be the occasional slip in front of the entire world and wondering why you couldn't get, you know. So what were you originally talking about, Nick? You got talking about so many things we forgot. So that guy up there, so he all of a sudden, he worked at that river place. Well, first, what was it, Golden Valley Health Center, first of its kind. Remember how I said anybody in the world, pretty much? Because if you go back when they started all that, instead of like just taking you out behind the vine and shooting you, they said, "Hey, let's get this guy 30 days and clean it." And then they had them hospitals for a while, and they got rid of them. Remember that? I kind of remember a few things. We can go over it all. Oh, you say, well, what do you mean? That guy, I mean, he looked pretty sharp. He's sharp as a tack up there with all them young guys playing poker and stuff. Well, I just hope you don't get that vertigo. He's pretty old, and he's on the freeway. You know, his dexterity, that thing. He used to be pretty nimble, a little bit on his feet. He's kind of one of them gymnastic guys. You seem to know some. No, I mean, they weren't all like mentally challenged and all that. kind of, some of them might have had some coordination and lived normal lives and, been athletic. I guess that guy there was a pretty good, what do they call that, a gymnast. Mm. Well, you said what? You think he liked them rings or something? Tough guys. Or I mean, you talk about having some muscles. Remember them ropes I was talking about? Yeah, they look like that. They come from the ceiling, way up there, top there somewhere. And they get put them big circle things on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess he liked them. He's pretty good at those. You know, I'm pretty sure. remember I talked. I took a little. I don't know if I took probability. I did take that statistics class, and this is what you need to know about probability. Okay, you get this little beam like this here, it's only about that wide. Mhm. You might not want to be like doing somersaults and jumping around up in the air, and then trying to land back down on that thing with your ankle. They call that probably really mess up your ankles and legs and stuff. But apparently, he was pretty good at that, I guess, too. Oh, and by the way, they got a few of them snack bags around. So he's pretty, back, but he's pretty near 80 years old, right? He's getting up there. Mm-hmm. When he's that sisters with that eyes and Shank guy they went to North High with down there in Minneapolis before, when you remember when the Muslim couldn't lay on the floor? You remember the original guy, CEOs of Cool and all that, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. And he was in a gang called what? Oh, I think they were called the Diablos or something. Mm-hmm. Oh, and there might be a clip in the newspaper of them guys, and there's only well, there's Jerry Hoken, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's one other guy, and you say, well, what did they do? Well, I don't know. I guess they went up canoeing up in the Boundary Waters one time. They had to save up some money or something. That was one of the big things. It was just and you remember how we was talking about, how you're kind of one of them saint people, even though you might have some trouble. So would you participate in anything like, remember hell and then a name? You wouldn't be like an angel in hell. No, never. I don't. You could. Yeah, I don't care how many bottles of Grey Goose got vodka you had. No, I ain't. I can't hang out with you if that's your name. Mm-hmm. Remember them? There's those gangbangers you used to know a little bit. Just because I was looking for a little lad. I mean, I was just an honorary member. I didn't participate in any. It was just kind of like one of them. You knew all of them, and it was kind of like that Brandon thing. If you touch that guy, you don't better back up in a Noka. They had their fists. Well, yeah, you guessed it. We got the boom boom now, and don't touch him. That kind of thing. But not like, it might have just kind of friends. So, but that you say you were looking last night because you're mentally ill and you don't drink and you don't get on here. I mean, well, we know, but you'd be willing to submit that to an FBI forensic team? Sure. If I had to. Oh, you mean like if they accused me of being like that Jared guy at Subway? Oh, sure. I have no problem. All of them. Anything you want. You're like, okay. Because, it's pretty easy for you understand the way they're controlling that, that iPad up there that he didn't seem to even want to replace for over a week. And it would only take a 2-minute phone call. So if you ever wonder why I can't get on the phone, Get him in front of a doctor and there. Yeah, I tried. And you say you don't have boundary issues, right? Right, because that if you had boundary issues, you'd sit up there and harass somebody and say, hey, calm, because I'm really just trying to help you so that I'm not really wanting to wipe your butt. We're gonna have to probably call Paula over here to do that once in a while, but plus there's that whole male on male, don't uncover your file. But I would like to take care. You remember that to get the lovable, compassionate human being that probably shouldn't be put in a can by a lawyer that won't even answer his phone calls or tell him what the fuck is going on. Yeah, that guy. So what you're saying is it'd be good because that laptop there is run by the Department of Defense and they won't open it up because they're fucking with you, and that's okay because we just want to make sure you ain't got any boundary issues. I understand. Okay. And that noise back there, damn. That's interesting. I don't know. Oh, good morning to you, Daddy, if you're tuning in to my channel. I would imagine my daddy, but it's about 7:45 local time there in beautiful Southern California. You know, the place they always call sunny and 7 days. Mm-hmm. Oh, Sonia Holland, don't forget that. Yeah, she was kind of. I actually thought she was kind of. She was. I seen her up at the library. She was always a little heavy set, but pretty face and nice to me. Of course, she's dealing with that. All that crap Dusty's saying about me. And then she got to deal with that woman that she stole her husband, that big old giant guy. Yeah, you back in the day, boy. There's a reason he bounced at the meatloaf, and you're saying you wouldn't ever be at a meatloaf cutting. No, never. Nah, ever. And a gazillion years, but he was kind of big guy. But he old now, and he should probably not mess with me. And you said, well, there he goes again. So that guy upstairs, what we're saying is, if he got that vertigo now, it's strange. Because think about it, you're driving down the freeway at 80, 70 miles, 70, 75 miles an hour with that big piece of metal. Well, that's plastic now, so not quite as bad. But if you all of a sudden can't see and all your balance and all that stuff is off, and the only thing you can do is go, and then you did the gymnastics, so you realize not to go that way because you're gonna hit all them cars, and then we got to call the troopers again. And you're like, so you pull over and usually you sit there anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, and then it'll clear up, and sometimes it come back. I was always worried about him because remember I care about that guy because remember how he'd come get me from the pits of hell on a dime? Mm-hmm. Well, like Carl said, parents don't last forever, and so I said, hey, yeah, I'm always trying to learn something, even if I'm in Satan's room. Okay. And you say, hey, so you say they ain't had that for a while. So that is like, oh, so you mean if you was getting together with, say, Paula, who's on that phone with Jane Eisenschenk about every day, checking in, that one for about the last 30 years? Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean that one that pretty much like you and she about the only one left that you talk to if that guy died? Mm-hmm, probably that one. Okay. So she'd be the one you'd probably call. Yeah, it used to be Hurricane Sandy, but she'd get memory problems too, and she'd get a little angry with, well, I don't know. And that Jane lady, she's pretty busy. She's retired, and she liked to go do that scuba diving a little bit. She was down in Cuba, and then there was down in Mexico, and she got them couple pretty good kids, and she's pretty busy, tough to get a hold of. She don't smile real often. I mean, you gotta really come up with a really, really good joke to get her to laugh. She does, about every Christmas, she'll give you a little smirk. Yeah, that one. So, um, but that old Tom now, boss, I mean, that guy, he like, remember how I'm saying, hey, time is short. Hey, it's about attitude, and we get to choose today. Now, sometimes I'm wondering, I'm like asking that guy, hey, Tom, I know you're like an optimistic guy here, but what the hell are you laughing at again? Yeah, that good. And you're like, okay. And you sure you're just not too dumb to understand them more than you remember he got that son that went to school to sell rockets to the moon and ended up putting playgrounds together for, yeah, that guy, and then they married that veterinarian. Yeah, and as old bad boy would say, he met a good housewife. Well, I guess not a, what that old women taking over, remember? Not a, as a common man would say, not a bad gig if you can get it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I would prefer house husband, but I hear that bad boy's kind of big and he likes them boxing gloves. Say like, whatever, I'll see you later then. Go talk to somebody else like that. Because we don't have any, I think he's in the sod removing business too. I think he's on the side. He's running a couple other things or something, but you better call that guy, you say that, yeah, remember, Buttigieg, that's how you say it. You said you're a professional, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. That certainly makes a little more sense. And so you say, so the hell's finished? Hey, you've been 10 minutes. What about to get upstairs in this hair? Well, for a while, he retired. It's only about, I don't know. I used to go down, you could go down to Bullhead City. He'd do that once in a while there when he just, so, what's his old boat pal, Steve Bolt. Remember the guy on the pizza? Was it pizza? Something out there in Maple Grove, right next to Hurricane Sandy. He's got that mentally challenged son, and then his brother. Oh, okay, it's making sense now. Brian, his son, and they would hang out at AA all the time, yeah. And he was and he was pretty good friends with your best friend, Michael Gordon Walker, remember the 5-star general? Yeah. And so you probably got along with him pretty well, right? I mean, you said you got along with just about everybody. Yeah, but not that guy. We didn't punch each other in the nose, but he didn't really like me. Most of Mike Walker's, including his nursey brother, you want to talk about being a good housewife. Even old toxic masculinity fell down there somewhere that way, down that way. He liked to hang out with them nurses. He got a right hand man, but he's a member. We're talking practicality. I'm kind of one of them guys too, so I understand when you're down to bushwhackers and woodies, you're like, hey, and it's kind of hard if I go out that gate there. They like to shoot me down, like jump all over me. And make me talk to him for a while, and I don't want to because I'm old and I never wanted to do this in the beginning. I just wanted to go fishing. Yeah, that guy. And he's like, that ain't my thing, but I mean, you can have, instead of going out that gate there and you see, you're pretty much a nurse, kind of like you talk to them doctors a little bit. And he's like, yeah, well, okay, and I can send you out to that gate and you get rid of some of them guys. And if I get sick or something, I need you to wrap me up. Oh, you can do that, right? And he feels like, okay, well, I'll let you hang around a little bit. And, I wouldn't go to nursing school with it, but like I said, we're down to bushwhackers and woodies. You can hang out for a while. Yeah, that thing. And he says, so you said, well, what's going on? Coffee. And so, he got up every day, right? And he's a day person. And I noticed, and even now, like he gets up, he's back to his normal time, but there was something going on. And it wasn't because I was loud, because remember, I'm not on Power Talk yelling at them people saying they're going to murder me for the last 6 years in Kyle's room trying to figure out where I'm at. Remember? So he started sleeping till like 1 and 2 in the afternoon for about a month. I was getting a little nervous, but he's back to that regular scheduled program. So, but he got a little bit of memory problem. I don't care what he tell you. Yeah, I've known that guy since I was 4 years old. Okay, so when I tell you he got a little memory problem, yeah, if you notice how my Alzheimer's ain't set in yet, you might want to talk to me. Yeah, I still got a pretty good memory. Okay, I'm just saying. Oh, and you don't have boundaries just because you ain't gonna marry that iPad, and you're not making demands on people saying, even though it's not your iPad, and we got government agents that want to shoot you. And we got Tiny Timmy playing with you too. He's got that all locked up saying call Verizon, like, yeah. Remember them bridges I got to sell you? Yeah, okay. And you ain't gone out there and gotten a fight saying, hey, if you don't call, no, because I'll go stay at your mama's and leave you with the dogs for the next month. So you better just go back downstairs, son. And I'm like, yeah, Papa 2, Papa 1, Papa 2, Papa. All right, because, yeah, I mean, and I love you. And so if you're trying to get that guy, remember that old guy that his boyfriend let him kiss my daughter, he do derivatives kind of sound. I'm not, you think a guy like that had to figure out an iPad? If it would have been me, I'd have got Tom's face in front of his doctor, because it's just kind of nice since you can't get a newspaper anymore, and you can't go into the doctor's office really unless you're like dying, right? Okay. So what's the point? Yeah, so you got a guy that can play around and jump around. I wouldn't be doing it on a little thing like that there, and they like it. And most guys will break their ankle and not be able to walk for about 6 months. And I'm saying, yeah, you can have the wrestling and that one. Okay. And you're like, all right. So you would like to sleep another half hour, so we'll try to keep that in mind today when you're not fully on your game all day because you got woke up a little early. But that's part of life. Yeah, a little tired. And it's gonna affect my performance, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not really good at anything but running that mouth, anyways, boy. Keep talking. Okay. You're like, all right, well. So yeah, so that guy, and now he's back to normal, but he'll tell you he wasn't sleeping until two. He, I'm like, I went up there. He don't. He got some serious short term. Poker is long term. You remember that smoke filled room? He been doing that for a little while, so he probably ain't gonna have any problem remembering how to do that. As long as he don't get that vertigo, we probably don't need to take the keys to his car, except old Billy Bob might try again. You know, not sure how many times they took the groceries out of his hand and threw them all over the ground, but I'm sure I got some cameras on top of a roof somewhere. I could probably find it. And he might be with Kenny the trucker. I'd start there. Hmm. Oh, and then there was that. Yeah, so let's get this straight. Remember how I said you wouldn't join a gang? Oh, and yeah, and I know it's just innocent though, because that synagogue of Satan in Fridley, just it's innocency. No big. They just want to have a building. There's only a few of them. I mean, don't let that bother you that they go in there and worship the devil, and we don't. It's just they're not. It's not serious. You don't have to worry about that. There's only one there. Probably ain't another one for 500 square miles, dude. Yeah, I ain't interested in going there ever. I don't care what kind of good drugs or alcohol they got going in there. No. And you're not interested in joining a gang that would want to be angels of hell? No, never. Never did want to. You probably wouldn't trust those guys? No. Mm-mm. And those them gang bangers, Also that, honey, I think I understand it. It just kind of, he liked that basketball and he was young and Michael Jordan. And now I understand why he kind of sounds like he's talking black. He doesn't actually think he's a black guy. He just had a lot of them and he knew a lot of them black guys' girlfriends and stuff, and they were all really nice and never hurt him. And so he was playing all that basketball and murder apples, and and he had, he liked to do it. So I see. He just kind of. I think. Let me think about this for a while. And yeah, I don't think this guy actually thinks he's a black man. I mean, you have to understand, son. I mean, you remember them little white balls? Yeah, my daddy, he knows. It's just us guys in the government, if you didn't notice, there's quite a few of them polar bears, and we really don't like the guys that talk like that, especially if they're not black, and that way you wear your hat there and stuff. We don't do that either, so we was just a little concerned. We wanted to clear that up. Yes, sir. And so you wouldn't join that, and you wouldn't join the was it? See, you wouldn't be, you probably wouldn't want to be friends or associates with it. So back in the day, if you had a choice to get a little bit of that from the Diablos, the Hells Angels, and then they got that one gang
That is just, I gotta find it. That's associated to something, Satan or the devil too, right? Yeah, and you didn't like, you was like, you were mindful enough that, hey, I'm not like the paranoid type, but I just don't, that if that's your symbol and all that, I'll go to them other guys, because I got to kind of make a decision. So that'd like be a way to start to figure out which one of these guys won't shoot me and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's fair to say you wouldn't be in that one, but, yeah, okay. And, okay. And we know you got, well, we're going to be a little extra patient today because we know you're getting real sick of talking and you got work to do. Time is short and this is starting to waste everybody's time now. I understand. And you needed about another half hour of sleep and you'd have been happy, happy, happy. Yeah. So, okay. You sure you ain't obsessed with that Duck Dynasty? I mean, you sure seem to all of a sudden know a whole lot about them. I says, no, remember after all that, I said, hey, well, I wanted to figure out, and I got that good memory, so I said I watched a few of their shows. That's all. Okay. I mean, the only reason we ask, son, is we think we can help you, but we're gonna have to make every once in a while we're gonna make sure you're not in the market for a dead coat. So I understand. Um, but look, you're like, hey, so that guy upstairs is so he's back to his normal sleep, but like you went up there and tried to just and he'll get real defensive because that's what happens with these people where what do you call it? Excuse me. Happened to my grandma. Happened to Bob and Bo. Not Butcher Bob. No, Bob. Bob was another one guy always laughing. Always laughing. Bob. He was married to the Hurricane Sandy. That guy. Another shame. Make you know. So what do you learn about Bob? Well, his last name was Bolduck. He was kind of a short guy. And oh yeah, I might have spent about 500,000 hours in the fishing boat with him and his wife there. That one that probably would have got along real good with Brandon Faulkner's mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. And you say, well, so you want to remember to not be working all the time. So if at the end of the day, do you want to do that old McCann thing where, hey, I'm going to stay after for 2 hours? Oh, well, the way the accounting market's going, no. So you're saying, because Bob worked hard and he never drank, and he had that really he got that other guy's hefty kingdom too, see? But when you quit drinking, remember that? They kind of got to leave you alone until you really mess up, see? Yeah. But he was always laughing, telling jokes, and you say, if you could, and you'd like to be like that instead of walking around like your daddy says you do all the time with a scowl on your face, right, son? Yeah, yeah. Because it just makes things fun and everybody around you. And yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. And you're like, what's that banging next door again? Are they banging on like the window trying to get somebody's attention? Because it's real loud. And you're thinking, I don't know. I don't think that. I think they got done doing the construction work on the what is it? The That would be the north side of your building here, and you're wondering, okay, because she does seem. Other than that, talking to that lady over there made you a little nervous, and we understand why if that guy was coming over and sticking his nose for no reason, getting the cops involved, and we know you don't. We understand it don't go real well with them, and they're banging on the door again. I'd say they oughta. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm trying to study here and really loud. Why is somebody banging on the door? What do they want? Maybe she's doing like a wood project, and it's not quiet time anymore, so I don't mind. But usually I haven't heard that banging lately. But you say, Bob. Yeah, so you see, at the end of the day, like I said, what I figured out is the work is never done, and you just figure out what you can do each day. And I'd say enjoy yourself a little bit, especially if you get one of them other guys' hefty kingdoms. And forget that 2 hours of work; it'll be there, and it'll never be done. Because Bob, he died so early, and he started getting real angry. Remember that? And if a gal that you got a nice fun guy that worked his tail off hard and he's driving out to Nebraska and you're like, boy, you really are trying to take a lesson from everything, ain't you, son? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not one of them guys we should see as a lost cause. And you say you don't ever want to do that again. All right, we'll keep listening. So you're saying, hey, yeah. And you're like, they ought to figure out if somebody banging on her window or if, like a big old polar bear or like if she's over there, like maybe she just got into woodworking or something. Yeah, maybe. And you're like, hey, we're going to the downs. And you're like, all right. So then a few times you've seen her talking to the enemy over there. Yeah, she seemed pretty nice and you don't want to like piss her off like when you had that Kincaid and she thought maybe you were gonna go all Samson on him. Yeah, like that. She seemed like a pretty nice person. So she seemed like a regular name and you don't really know, so you just want to get along with everybody and tell your story. hmm And so this Bob, right? So he gets that memory thing and they get really angry and if you had a guy like me around that was trying to do all this to, you might probably say, hey, well, that's a good crisis not to go to waste. What's that guy up there saying about you? Yeah, probably. And we don't even have to tell him what to say. No. Oh, this is easy. Yeah. So like, okay. And you're not mad at nobody. Why, man? I ain't mad at nobody. What you talking about, Willis? And so you're like, okay, so the lesson is try to enjoy life and not go chasing that mammon like the Bible says, just to try to keep up with the Joneses or a little bit of extra. You got to enjoy that life at the end of the day a little bit. Because you never know what's life is precious and it can be gone at any moment. Even if you're sober and you say, hey, I don't want to do that no more. And I laugh like a hyena. And I get everybody around me laughing like a hyena. Yeah, that guy. Mm-hmm. And you never did like gambling, so Hurricane Sandy, she really liked it because instead of being down there, You was watching a movie with her or something. Yeah. And he gone way too early. Yep. Okay. What about him? So you're saying you sure you're not? Yeah, you got a little goofy yesterday, and well, that when you get to talking nonstop and trying to come up, tell your story, and you're up late, and you got other work to do, and you're where that. Well, what about all this tape? Well, my daddy's a carpenter, and once in a while I like to just get that tape measure out and take some measurements, is all. And so, yeah, just in case I want to build something, start playing with wood and power tools. Cause I like that. My favorite is the steel chainsaw. But, okay. So what's going on today? I'm pretty tired now. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna get accomplished exactly, but I guarantee it doesn't involve any alcoholic drugs or this here Oscar Mayer wiener. I mean, you can go take that to the bank for about the next 50 years and go right home to mom about it, whatever you need to do. You understand why people might not like you right now, and you're like, just a smidgen, but you understand what I've been going through. But as far as the last 50 years, no, not really. Hi, this is Nicholas Julian again. It's been a few days. I was going to follow up. I sent an email. I'm calling about those battler grips. I had talked to Doug and Brian for a while, and I don't know. All of a sudden, you guys aren't answering the phone now since like last Thursday. So just maybe you guys are on vacation or something. It's been a while. I know they said it would take about a week to process my grips. Just trying to see get an idea if you had a color or anything, you was coming up with anything, and maybe gonna get it in the mail to me. Somebody give me a call back at 651-319-6796. I would really appreciate it, and I guess maybe I'll send another email here. Yeah, so they were gonna try to come up with that What was that here? Because we're in the Smith & Wesson. We're in the KL round. None of that. And the battler still temporarily unavailable. Now they got that Super Rosewood now for the conversion. Because we don't want any of that fancy checkering on it or any of that. We just want the plain conversion. Yeah. No. Just wondering, I was thinking maybe pretty quick it might be in the mail to me and you're just gonna get the darkest when you put for me, so they were gonna make sure there was no splinters or any hairline fractures like that was in the other one. And I don't mind if you got one that you have to send those medallions. It's okay if you want to do that or whatever. I'd really appreciate the kittos if you got them. Or maybe you get some wood coming in or something. Maybe he's waiting. You get some dark, he's gonna maybe make one up real quick or something. That's fine too. But I just like to know what's going on. If you could call me back or respond to an email, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Yeah, 651-319-6796, and this is Nick Julien, Julien. So you say, so you said if that guy gets, because it's going to be tough because we've got all these people on the internet that have wanted to murder you or threatened to murder you, and Carl 6699, he's got about 10 gazillion. Yeah, the guy that likes to play with clocks and he's got the goats in the neighborhood. I don't think it didn't sound to me like they were getting in bed with him, but and he's a pretty nice guy, right? He likes to tell you how he don't go to church and believe in God, but he still does charity and all that. Likes to take the neighbor lady who doesn't have a car. Remember that burrito and or takes us to the store. Remember all that, like, yeah, and so. But he got pretty mean to you, and your behavior really didn't, or your positions haven't really changed all that much since you started talking to them Howards about 30 years ago. But I don't know if I got to talking to them, but eventually I run into them somewhere there along the line. Mm-hmm. It's probably a good thing that old, what's her name, Carly kind of ran into them, because she kind of probably balanced, because otherwise that old slick Willie that like to do that paperwork, he's kind of like his daddy, and they can get kind of angry, and they're way down that way, and remember them. And old Phil, he'd be like, you know how masculine this old Phil would tell this joke. You know how masculine I am. I mean, you see that I got 5 boys there. I mean, they was praying for a girl, and I couldn't even give them one. It was all boys. See, something along that line. I'll tell you that too. So yeah, like if they was trying, if they got the Kincada out, and you're like, but do you want Phil there? And you're like, no. You're saying, how about Willie? And you're like, well, can we bring Corey along too and get a second opinion? And you're like, oh, okay, it may be, but you got to remember where they come from. That guy Phil, he's a pretty mean dude, right? Yeah, he's a Christian guy, but you don't want to. There's lots of places to find a duck call, son. Do not go near that man. I understand. Oh, but them Howards, so they're pretty. Yeah, they got quite a few polar bears if you yell, but they got some of them nice feminist girls like Corey. They keep them all a little balance, See. Oh, yeah. So you're like, okay. So you wouldn't join a gang. We want to go. That's what we were getting at, right? No, but you would be interested in. So if you had a street gang that the two street gangs that back when you used to do that, play basketball, and you were friends with everybody, and they said, hey, you can go get it from the Diablos, or you can get it from what in effect is my dad, but or Tupac, they would say. Or you can go to the Hills Enders, or you can go to these guys here that still go to church and but they get that gang together and protect each other, and mostly so the guys and that like to go to Satan's place, they mostly was just kind of what you'd probably go to them guys. Yeah, because you're that guy that carries around the Bible still even back then, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's making a little more sense. And you're saying, all right. And you're saying, instead of hanging, well, I understand back then because see, you was pretty sure if old McCann and most of her kids were pretty older probably by then, because she was a nice, good housewife like Lois first. So, so she was kind of probably trying to finish her PhD or something, I bet. And it was mostly her husband. And she could still, if she stayed after for a couple hours, eventually she'd be sending them rockets to the moon. And we're pretty sure that we don't care how long you stay after, you're probably never going to send them rockets to the moon, but you get it running your mouth. So we're going to see if we can get that reorganized here, as long as you stay away from that. We know you don't like this here. You like to read that there. And I mean, you're not an easy task. We thought you was going to be a little easier, boy, but now you got a few people that know what's going on, and you just keep talking. So we kind of want to come to a gentleman's agreement here. Sounds like a plan. And because your daddy, I heard, he started saying he was getting some quotes on some airline tickets and stuff. Did you ever get the disc built for him? And well, I got the tape measure last night. I started looking at it. You're like, okay. Are you compensating, or are you just like one of them toxic masculinity guys that likes carrying around a tape measure that weighs like 2 pounds and goes out about 75 feet? I don't know. I must have got that from my daddy. You realize that most of the time you ain't ever gonna need nothing over about 10 feet. Mm-hmm. So you just like the fact that in case you need a 75-foot tape measure and it's really heavy, you like to carry that around instead of something. Yeah. What you say you were practical. Well, there's just some things you just gotta have. Okay. It's kind of like accountancy, right? Because there's that measurement thing. Mm-hmm. You like puzzles. We've seen that. We got lots of footage of that you weren't up there looking at weird stuff in front of, around them books with kids and all that. You was sitting at that table doing puzzles like you used to with Grandpa Harold. And all you can really remember from that guy is, yeah, pretty much. And that he could outwork anybody. But I thought he was about 100. And they pretty much had to take him off that farm at gunpoint, didn't they? Yeah, he wanted to just stay there, go, be left alone. And he started getting that little memory problem, and oh, yeah, they had to change the locks and all that on him too, like that Dave Dahl down there. And yeah, he just liked going out there on his farm and doing the wood splitting and stuff, and pretty much wanted to be left alone. And I don't know. Oh, you mean they didn't invite you to the closing and they didn't invite you to that auction because you probably would have found too many things that you would have wanted to keep in the family, and that would be sentimental. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can understand why you just. Well, we appreciate the calmness today. We're sorry that we had to wake you up a half hour early, but I think you're gonna be okay. Should probably get into that morning Bible reading a little sooner. Because although you're really, really good at just talking here, it ain't paying the bills yet. Okay. Yeah, I was pretty tired last night. You said, well, can you give us an example of your Christianity and all that? And remember, like, this is pretty much all you get, other than your daddy between you and the devil and all that. And you're like, okay. And so remember, I want to get the Word of God throughout the day, so it's balanced. And I always try to finish reading, and I like to read it out loud because, well, I want to help them angels that are having that spiritual warfare. You remember that? And, you know, maybe it'll help pierce bone and marrow or something and get into the nooks and crannies and help get that Holy Ghost moving around a little more. I don't know. And then remember when they come take the Bible, even though I'm pretty stupid, I'll still be able to remember a little bit because I've been hearing it. But I fell asleep early, so and remember we're not. Well, yeah, we're thinking you probably should have got that extra half hour sleep because. So, sometimes we see those guys driving those big trucks with those testicle things hanging off the back, swinging back and forth. Are you compensating like them with, like Tiny Timmy with that tape measure there? I mean, I didn't think of it like that, but I mean, I don't know. I never thought of it. I just like it's just like a big long tape measure. Take care. Um, oh, you say you got 2 bathrooms there, right? Yeah, and so the bathroom downstairs, there's something wrong with the plumbing, right? Yeah. So that bathroom's kind of out of commission like everything else around here in this fixer upper? Yeah. So that's why you don't want to walk upstairs every 5 minutes to go to the bathroom? Yeah. Oh, you mean that thing that that's what Anthony's talking about. Oh, okay, yeah. So you need context. Uh, and, yeah. So like it just might be like one of them things, and that'll fix it. Yeah. And sometimes you forget that you're broadcasting around the entire planet. Yep. So and if you're and you had that thing. Remember, Mom dropped you off that place and terrorized you because your dad's out in California, and so she had the coffee and the cigarettes going on you from the moment of conception, and that didn't help. And then Daddy was running around, and she went half nuts, and she got tired one day and said, "Hey, I think I'll try to keep my son alive." You know, look, I got this rope here. No, it wasn't that big. And she's like, I got this closet here. I mean, how much? I got to get a little sleep here. And I don't want him to run out that street and die because I love him. Because he came forth from my loins. And I got to put him in this closet for a few hours. I'm gonna tie it with a rope because he's one little crazy German Swedish part English bulldog, and he's like a bull in China. I need some sleep. And then you got to eating them paint chips a little bit. That's allegedly Daddy says that. And he's always looking for a little reason too of why that there would be a dangerous weapon. But hey, you're saying, come on. You're like, yeah, okay. And she dropped off that, and then so you're already missing your daddy. All that trauma. You pissed the bed till you were 50, but they tried to send you to that research lab for like over a month, and you don't remember a whole lot from your childhood, but you remember that day. Oh, very vividly. You remember, oh, and Tom left you there too, and he was supposed to be your buddy. Yeah, maybe somebody else, like one of his kids, or there was a few of them. And they weren't just there to figure out why you were pissing the bed till you were 50. No, for sure not. And so you remember that day when there's only a window like this here, and like that. You're pretty young. You know, you just recently went, your daddy's gone, and you were with him for the first couple of years, and that's why you probably still want to talk to him a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you love him. Oh, yeah. Because you're probably missing him. You're a little screwed up in the head from all that extra lead eating paint chips. Yeah. And it didn't help with the coffee and cigarettes. Back then, we used to lock them gals up once in a while. They'd contaminate the womb, like that. We'd have to catch them. Most of the time, they got away with it because they're half the kingdom. Mm-hmm. So it's not all your fault. But you remember that day looking out that window, boy, crying and screaming, thinking they was abandoning you. And took you about a couple of weeks to finally quit crying so they could get some studies done. Mm-hmm. I remember that. And they stuck that tube to that hole. You never forget that. Oh, boy, did that burn. I'm pretty sure that's what an STD. I never had an STD, but I'm pretty sure that's probably what it feels like. Yeah, you remember that when they stick a tube like this here down your Oscar Mayer wiener. Yeah, you don't forget that. But then you remember how scared you were when Mama, yeah, your mommy You sleep, that's all you got. They leave it in that strange place where nobody you don't know at that young age just to study it and maybe see if should we just riddle him up a little bit again? Maybe we gotta change that or add something. I remember that. Okay, this is making more sense. Girls, come here, look at this. You want? Look at that. Look at. Ooh, look at what I got there. Look at there. And so you say, yeah. So maybe that's why that's why you might want to get Dr. Acton involved. Yep, probably. And you say, well, if we need to, because we know you're not a lost cause. Yeah, we know that. And we know you're not a rapist, a pedophile, a Jeffrey Dahmer, and all that. And like I said, you just got a real, you're getting old, and we got them Georgia Guidestones, and you get that low skill set, and you're not that funny, and you're kind of annoying. And oh, by the way, yeah, you guessed it, we're polar bears. Okay, makes sense. But this, so you remember that day, and you're like, whoa, yeah, okay. So you may have been traumatized a little bit as a kid, but you're not young. People might not realize, yeah. And you understand most children go through something, or especially nowadays, and they turn out just fine. Yeah, but I'm an original. Remember my daddy or my granddaddy fought in World War II and all that, and them planes there freeing them guys used to put in the oven. So there might be one or two people up that might have a say in whether I'm a lost cause. Like I said, my daddy, he said there's only a couple of them white balls left, but he's doing what he can. Okay. You're kind of tough repeating yourself again, so maybe you should go read that Bible. Probably a good idea, because yeah, I had enough coffee probably now. I needed that extra sleep. Okay. And so you say, well, this here Slick Willie, he might not like the fact that his daughters or his wife maybe had you on a prayer list for some reason. I suppose they're kind of ornery than his dad. So sure, that's possible. You do know he's pretty successful and got a lot of that money, and you went you mess with the women a little bit, but we don't know for sure, and we can't prove anything because they won't talk. But the story is kind of making sense. And okay, you never meant to cause any trouble. No, and I never served God for what I could get either. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And there's all that strange stuff going on that just seems to continue. Mm-hmm. So you say that's why you're going upstairs because your one restroom downstairs is out of commission, and you don't want to bother that guy too much. And he uses that too up there. It's kind of a hike. But stuff. So you might you might have like used a like when you were fishing. You might have like one of them. You know them jugs that they're carrying around because they ain't got no clean water down there in Texas. And you probably shouldn't be whining too much about your life because hey, they should not them guys. Yeah, them big. Yeah, so you might have peed in one of them a few times. Right? Yeah, yeah. You know that fishing Amarillo Slim's trying to tell me about. Yeah. So being in a bucket. Remember we had talked briefly. So like going number two in a bucket would now, and the difference was you actually would line those buckets, and the other guys they didn't care about that, and there'd be more than one going, and that's kind of gross. And then they'd be like, all right, and then you just dump it like down the Pig Farm Pete's place, and then they just go and wash it out. And like, yeah, you're like, that's kind of Phil style. Yeah, but you're more like on that Corey and your mama and all them women. So you're like, hey, is there something I can line this here so I don't have to have fecal matter? Don't, you know, oh, you know them plastic bags like you get at Walmart. If you're going hunting, those work pretty well, but you can't get them in California no more. I don't even think you can buy them. Kind of like newspaper. I don't know what you're gonna do, but here you can still get them. And yeah, I seen them buildings coming burning too, and I seen that. So I had a few extra laying around. So when I go to deer camp, I like to line it first because it's more sanitary, and then you just throw it in the garbage, and then you might have the bucket to pee in too, right? Because right, and so if your bathroom was out and you didn't, and you had all this going on, and you ain't found the plumber yet, or you're gonna maybe fix it yourself, but you got that one you don't want to walk. You might have figured out that going in a bucket or a pee thing that would be fairly normal. Yes, sir. You don't want me to go on the floor like the dogs, do you? No, they go in that box over there. We ain't at my Leslie Marks up there on the tile. That they come in with a little bleach every few months and spray it down like that. They know we got a high tech here. A real, a real dog box there. Okay, this makes more sense. So forget about what the whole kind of, because he already won't tell you what the hell's going on. So if he starts making allegations, we'll take it with a grain of salt. Okay, we hear you. All right. Anything else this morning, Nick? Well, not really, I guess. Um, well, I really needed that extra half hour of sleep. You do realize that most of society is required because remember how we destroyed the ability for just the guy to get up and the gal to stay home with them babies that were in her belly for 9 months and maybe spend some time with them instead of total strangers. Remember that? Mm-hmm. You do realize that most people gotta set that alarm and don't always get to just sleep. Yeah, but I ain't everybody. And and you did have those. You work for the family business, so it'd be it'd be easy to just say a lost cause and try to adapt to something we can't change. Yeah, probably, but you might not want to do that because I'm Jacob Sheep and not a Pinto. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is making more sense at the moment. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. You do understand, even though you're irritated, there could potentially be a half a kingdom listening, and you might want to try to be nice. I understand, sir. Okay, I think that's sufficient. Check in for the moment. One thing was getting out with the paint chips, but I'm missing a half hour. It's amazing just that waking up, the difference all day long. You said, well, sometimes you can't plan it. I mean, you get to working and you're not tired or whatever, and you don't get to bed yet, especially with all I'm thinking about and got going on. And so you said, well, it's better to let that guy sleep an extra half an hour because he'll be very productive for the next 13 or 14. But now that he missed that half hour, he's just gonna not do a whole lot, really. Well, that's kind of where we want you at. But, well, I gotta get to that accountant sometime. And we're gonna get old half the kingdom a pontoon boat. You know, they don't give those things out for free to everybody. Some people gotta still pay for those. And you're like, yeah, that's right. Them ones that can't even stay home and watch their kids because we wanna get them on them books up there. Remember that? Yeah, it's the easiest ways to get the parents out. You know, oh, you mean like kind of like you and passing all them UAs just because you like a couple naked ladies once in a while? Yeah, just like that. And if you get too far out of line, still got them big old black boys up there. They really don't like you now. Mm-hmm. I understand. So you better stay in line, boy, because we're powder bears, and it's looking like you're really gonna have to give us a good raise in here, just because you got that daddy between you and the devil. But we're keeping an eye on you. Don't you dare get out of line too far, son. You see, we've got reports, we see, so we're looking for a reason here to come on in there and, do a welfare check on you because that'd be the easiest. You remember that gal that likes to see you in handcuffs? She still likes that. And now if you didn't notice, kind of like, you're not making a whole lot of new friends here, Nicky Boy. And I'm like, well, yeah. And you're like, so tell us, you see into this consultant business, and we're looking to get in there because we're paying you now to watch the cameras and stuff a little bit here. See what you got. 100%. Okay. You want me to convince half the kingdom to send a SWAT team in? No. Well, we got this guy here, and we're concerned about them animals. He's been awake. It's already 11 a.m. and he hasn't fed them. I think we've got a abusive animals case here. So we're really not going to tell him that because we can't prove it. We're going to come in there because we just think he's crazy or something. But that's why, right? Because we'll have to kingdom should worry about them dogs or something like that. And then you're like, well, except for you didn't see me giving them all that food over there earlier, and they're pooping all over the floor over that way, and they're not malnutrition. Oh, yeah, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So just because we don't see you feed him on the sevens here, like old Tom will get all excited. He's got nothing else to think about or worry about. Yeah, pretty much. And he's got that little bit of memory problem. Uh-huh. Something like that. So we don't have to worry. You're feeding them dogs plenty. Oh, yeah. Mhm. So we probably don't want to go in there for that, but we still think we can show that you're crazy. So you might want to, that, whatever all that talking you do, you want to keep it more like this. Okay. I know. I just have always been kind of a silly guy. Right, but you're broadcasting all around the planet now. Okay. Uh, so you're gonna feed them dogs pretty quick. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I should give her that because I remember I'm kind of part conservatives and that you remember that liquid I got it kind of shared between me and the dog. Like I get me a little nippy nip here and there. So if I can skip on her once in a while, get me a little one. I t- no, never ever again. Never ever did. Where's never again? I think I might need to talk to her. Hey, look, no, never. But you're trying to decide because you're thinking right now what you're thinking, son. Well, how much she been coughing? Did she wake me up in the middle of the night? How's she doing? Because if I don't have to give that to her, I don't want to. Because they not only do they think I like to drink it, but it's expensive and kind of tough to get sometimes. And I don't like my dogs on drugs because then BB comes over and says, "Look at that thing glazed over like it's eyes," because he's got that sod removing business, And he's a polar bear and he's angry as hell. And he might have talked to his daughter or something, probably. And like that. Is that possible? No, no, no. We didn't. You're just joking around right now. Yes, I was just playing around completely. Um, so you're saying that you're trying what you're doing right at the moment. You're saying, "Hey, excuse me." So now this is the time where you say, "Okay, do you want to be married or not?" And you're like, "I gotta clear my throat, honey. If I do what I'm gonna do," and I seen what Avis does, and I'm thinking, if Avis is gonna get roasted, and she's one of those snack bar girls, but she's a lot bigger, real smart, never did any bad stuff or whatever. Uh, if she's getting grossed out, you realize that you're on all over the word, and if you go clearing that throat, there's about 500 kids that will turn this off. Okay, what do you want me to walk upstairs? What do you want me to do? I gotta clear my throat. Okay, I got work to do, and I gotta clear my throat. How do you want me to? And I'm not turning this off. So, but like if it's the difference between half the kingdom, you're like, okay, I'll go upstairs, honey. But you're like, I gotta clear my throat. So excuse me for a moment. Boy, you're not. It's a good thing that you got that idea of publishing in person, because it's costing us a little extra. And obviously we've got lots of stuff to do, but we're starting to feel like, you know, maybe Amarillo Slim can just get you going in the right direction a little bit and move a few things around. I think you can be all right because you're actually kind of an interesting kid. And we know everybody, we've all agreed you're pretty stupid, but you seem like a nice kid and you've been through a lot. And we probably wouldn't want to let a polar bear at you, especially if you're taking sheep. Uh, so let's just, we'll take that, yeah. Yeah. So is there anything strange going on right now? Yep. So well, what's that? You said, well, probably another animal. Oh, excuse me. You know, when I first had that surgery, which is kind of interesting story, I could not burp. An old doctor done filleted me like a like a filet mignon, fixed me all up. Thank God for that man, huh? Oh, he was tough to get into. He's retired now for sure. Oh, you mean that guy that put the BB in for bad boy, the BB there in your gut or something? So we have a transmitter, not in your right hand or your forehead, but you didn't say you could put it there, but no, come on, I'm just playing. No, just that guy. I could not burp, and see that's why you need a guy like old Dunn because you got to be able to feel each other out, get it, figure out you want to tighten it up a little extra because it's going to loosen up over time, and he did do a pretty darn good job. But I could not drink coffee or nothing till well I tried. And that was about 8 years. That was a long time ago. Remember when old Shannon was trying to prevent it? Instead of letting me go get a surgery, she was trying to ship me back down, and with no way ever to prove that it was or wasn't. Because remember the 72 hours? Yeah, this wasn't marijuana. Like, look, you see that level going lower? This was that woman with that jelly on that face said you did that, and there's no way for you to. And we're apologize, you guessed it. And we don't like it. And you're having a bad day again, son, just 'cause we want you to. And I know I'm sick of this. And all you was and you were crying like old Hefty Kingdom had you in the fetal position, sniffling like a little baby. Yeah, it's pretty painful when it feels like a volcano and you can't drink or eat nothing. Can't put no pepper in all them burritos the size of a basketball. Yeah, you wouldn't doing that ever again. Never again. So I could not belch. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, I'm not kidding. And so I got worried actually. I think I might have even went down and got concerned just before, well, a few years back maybe. I talked to somebody because I was like, all of a sudden I could burp. I was thinking it was loosening up too much, and it will. You got to be careful. It's like you said. Well, did you learn anything else from old Big Don other than? Yeah, he said he the expert that guy. That guy that's got pretty good table manners. He got that from Big Don. So they didn't have to send him to school for that. And old Big Don, I said, look here, boy. You see all these counters and stuff? I want you small bites. You see, small bites. That's what you do. You can eat quite a bit, but I want you to eat real small bites and chew with your mouth closed because if we get old Sadie Robertson on the horn and she hears that, you're out. Oh, okay. And you're like, all right. So you're like small bites, and yeah, so small bites and small little sips, and you're pretty good. But I got concerned when I couldn't burp for the first 5 years, and he said, well, if you can make it 7, it'll probably stay that way for the next 50 after that. And I'm like, you're looking up, but I'm worried because all of a sudden I can belch. And he said I wouldn't. And he said it kind of varies, but so mostly and then all of a sudden I could not drink, have anything. And my mom got all mad because I'll eat mom's food no matter what. Oh, well, except for the pork. I don't care what else. That's mom. But she puts all that pepper in there, and then if I ask her not to, she's got to work twice as hard because she's got to make a separate. I couldn't eat pepper, nothing. I still can't do the pepper or spice, anything. But I can drink and obviously I'm trying to drink the coffee, and I could drink it for a couple of days, and I'd have this horrible heartburn, and I'd have to. So that all this talking here wasn't happening, but then recently, I don't know if I found a good Starbucks brand, a light roast which you understand, kids. The dark roast has actually less. Okay, you wouldn't think so because it looks all oily. It's actually, the dark roast is actually, now pay attention here, son. The dark roast, because remember I worked in a couple of them coffee shops and you say, yeah, well, we all know that, but I didn't. So the dark roast is actually, it looks like it's like oil, right? But it's less acidic on the pH level to the stomach, but it's less caffeine too, or something like that. So that the light roast is actually can be more acidic and worse on people's sensitivity. But I found one, and if I'm real careful, I can drink it, I guess. Now all of a sudden, a little bit, not all day long, and you gotta be careful with it. But it seemed all right, and if it weren't for old Shannon, that might have never happened. You don't know what you get down there, Michigan. Who knows? Want to ship me back down to over a tiny little, and we know what's going on. And the only thing we can get in front of a judge and say is, and the judge is like, I seen this, why are you doing this? Well, we're polar bears and we don't like that. And, we run this and, we're taking care of stuff for you, judge. And so we just want to give this guy a hard time, be quiet. You know what it is, work we're doing for you. And he's like, oh, I didn't see nothing. Yeah, that guy. And you're like, damn, if I would have ended up down there, I don't even know if I would have got that surgery. After all that, they might have revoked mine. And you wonder why I'm saying, hey, ho, look, if you can't, hey, you ain't but your ball, but yeah, hey, if we can, I know we ain't going fishing, buddy, but hey, I still love you. But you got to tell me what the hell that means next time. You say, well, no, I don't mean like that, because no, there ain't gonna be a next time like that, Judge. I guarantee you that. No, I just mean like, but as far as I'm concerned, the only time I'm talking to Mr. Ho is if I want to go get a look at that new cannon he's getting, or I get in a car accident, or I know somebody that's in a car accident or something, maybe a little. I got, I'm trying to get into I'm trying to do on the side a consulting business. If I got like a legal question, remember, say I need to ask a lawyer and I don't want to spend 3 days trying to find the answer because I want to do that accounting there. And you went to law school and passed the bar and you got some really nice suits. They ain't quite as good as Big Don, but they're pretty fancy. And so I'm saying, hey, okay, yeah. They're like, hey, okay. But yeah, like that next time. That's all I'm talking about. Come on, honey. Come on. You want, that's the kind of thing where you get stepped on. Come on. Now, you know better. Stop that.
I know it's fine. You don't have to talk to me about something else. We want to can't even get the guy to talk to me. And then he want to talk to me for 3 minutes about going to ransom. It's not going to be about how he can't go. Okay, I'm back. I thought it was. This is the second time I've done that, and why did I? Yeah, because I'm starting to worry about. I got some work to do in my cars, and I am procrastinating. I do not want to go out and get another 10K. That's not going to matter in 10,000 years. And you say, well, that degree there might, especially since you're not in the market for any duck cows anymore. You might need that thing there. But I still was going to need that. I have never really been in there. I seen that one. Tenfold. Seen that one too. You say, hey, you know, I thought it was Monday. Thank God. They give me another day before they start getting real excited and saying, hey, boys, hey, we got anything on there, guy? Hey, is that there a weapon yet? You got now, you're probably going to let that wooden nickel be gone. You say, hey, okay. Oh, he surprised us, didn't he? We'll have to reframe that one. We'll keep an eye on him. Yeah, we're going to the dams. So, yeah. Yeah. Come on. I mean, is it just me? I mean, I'm not like, I mean, you remember y'all, you know how I told you, I says, hey, remember? There's just some things I don't need to keep repeating, right? But remember how I knew way before I got real serious about this Bible here, and I said, look, I learned pretty fast I was never going to be in the adult entertainment industry. So they say, hey, your next step is to get them testicles hanging off the back of that truck of yours, right? And swinging about just a swinging. No, I don't. I don't think that's appropriate because I don't want children to see that and go, Dad. Just like I don't want them to see that book truck there. I don't want my kids going, hey, Dad, what is them things hanging off the back of you? Just a swinging. And I'm like, no, I don't want those. But now this is, say, you tell us, how come when you walk in a Home Depot, Nick, you're all suspicious, going looking for the biggest tape measure they got? Mm-hmm. So when you got there, it was like this, you said that was the biggest one, but the 50 footer they had, but they was out. And you would have got that one? Yeah. Did you consider one of them? That thing's pretty heavy. And you wasn't going to be in the adult entertainment industry. And you don't want a duck call no more. And you're saying, hey, you're compensating. I'm saying, I don't think so. I just think it's cool. Just in case I need to send a rocket to the moon or something. I like that 50 footer. Is that weird? And I don't ever have to wonder about if my baby girl should come up to Daddy, give me, hey Daddy, can I get a little hug and a kiss on that cheek? Because we don't. I wouldn't kiss them completely. Boom. Can I swear again? Stranger on the lips in front of you, unless they took you away from me and said, hey, you remember them big old black guys, boy? Yeah, we'll put to the pretty lippers. And you don't get to see your daddy no more. By the way, we're going to let that guy kiss you. And if you touch him, you're probably going to hurt him and you're going to go to prison. And so
You're not worried about your daughter coming up. Hey, Daddy, why do you gotta always have the biggest tape measure, Daddy? Like, do you see anybody else with a 50-footer, Daddy? Like, you don't usually need that long on one, Daddy. And I'm like, no, ask me some more questions about that tape measure, honey. Because you know nothing about them books up there, sweetie pie. Hmm. And you guessed it. You ain't never gonna be kissing a stranger on you don't even have to ever, you know, you might give Daddy a kiss on the cheek once in a while. No, have to Kingdom says, oh, hey, give Daddy a little sugar, give him a little kiss on him, give him a little hug. He's going to work for a while with that big old 50-footer. He'll be back. Mm-hmm. But you ain't worried. No, honey, baby, come here and sit on Daddy's lap. Ask anything else you want to know about that big old tape measure I got? Well, not right now, Daddy. I might have some further questions later, Daddy, but no further questions, Yana. It's your witness. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to go get him now. Well, so again, oh, wait. So we need to ask you a few questions about this animal welfare case that the dog mom is considering, because you're starting to wonder what all that noise is. And so we got a few questions about that. Why don't you go feed them dogs? Because you're probably malnutrition them anyways. Go feed them, come back. We got a couple questions. Yeah, hey, honey. Hey. Good girl. Oh, so that's why Oakmont might not answer their call, because it's Sunday. Well, Altamont Company has not answered their phone since like last Wednesday, and it was going straight to voicemail. So, yeah, I'm not wondering if they, because I tell you what, if I'm like the last company on the planet, except for Eagle Grips, even though I'm pretty much out of wood and I still got other stuff going on, and we got plenty of business. You know, we've been around for about 50 years, and we don't want to go out of business. We know we're going to get that occasional guy calling on Sunday thinking it's Monday, and it's like, well, we're there. Mm-hmm. But he's also wondering why, since Wednesday, and he's been calling for a while, why, with all that technology, and it kind of, you know what I mean? They used to have to ask you who you was. Now they just kind of know for some reason. Yeah, remember that? Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, we going to the Downs, boy. You're like, hey, like, okay, so why, if you're business, you remember that guy? Well, you remember that safes, and you know, he might know a few people that know, yeah, right, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But remember, it's a seller's market. Say, you're lucky we even decided to give you. They said, you wonder why we're blowing that mind? Because remember when they used to customer and all that? Well, now they remember that now they got it narrowed down to Walmart. They almost get rid of Target too. They won't be long. Mhm. But pull up your bootstraps, boy, will I ship another phone job across those seas, down across that lake and oceans and whatever, across the pond to Al Qaeda. Where they giggle and laugh at you like that guy on the floor down there in North Hennepin Community College in Brooklyn, Center, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, that guy. That one. Well, yeah. I mean, we did that. Remember them guide stones and all with Bill Gates? We planned that. Most guys don't worry about it though, because we got them pacified pretty well on them drugs and alcohol there. And they, if they get too far out of line, we just pull the tape and the audio, and it's pretty simple. But you are a little more difficult. So keep talking, son. Okay. And you're like, why have you not answered your phone since Wednesday? The last I checked, it wasn't a holiday. Mhm. And you did call, like you didn't upset. You didn't cross the line like with your lawyer where you're just asking for you, your paperwork from the case so you know what indirect or direct and all that would mean. Yes, Your Honor, that did correct. And you tried to reach out once or twice and you waited a reasonable amount of time without bothering him because you know he's really cool and he gets that nice car and that nice wife. And he don't really want to talk to you anyway. Yeah, that guy. So you didn't bug him because you know we got those. You've had some experience with these restraining orders. They're pretty easy. Mhm. So you're well aware when your lawyer says, "Hey, stop harassing me," and you've only texted him one time in 24 hours to ask him, "Hey, I reset my computers. You mind sending me that all them electronic files from my safekeeping?" And he doesn't respond after 24 hours. And I can probably get away with this ain't a guy also, and I paid this guy some money. He gave me a pretty good discount. So and he's into it, economics too a little bit. He probably took one of them classes. And he's like, the reason I gave you a discount is because I don't want you to call him and ask me a bunch of questions. Besides, remember, I don't like him that pretty wife. Again, I want to spend a little time with her. So when you know I got to that cannon and all that. You really don't want to piss me off. So just, so it's been 24 hours. And you're like, but remember all that, the first order, I couldn't even like go outside my house on a golf course that I've lived for 10 years. And you're wondering in that order, you're kind of asking me, who's the Iron Mask guy down there in Mankato? And I'm like, I'm not sure, but there's like three or four of them. But we're going to try to be real quiet about this because, yeah, so we're not just. Mm. I kind of understand, but I'm really not trusting you. Remember back when the bow and arrow thing? But I know, yeah, I get it. About the only thing other than between me and the devil, that's my daddy and you. And so I'm really trying to not piss you off here, sir. And I like you. I think you're pretty good looking. You're pretty cool. You get them cannons, and you want to get another one. There was that one time you changed cars and you said, "Hey, meet me outside," and you picked me up in that Mercedes. We had that little talk, And so, and you're like, okay. But when I call, I figure, hey, I can probably try one more time before he called and petition the court with old Hoffman and say, I'm withdrawing from the case because I got a client harassing me. I won't send him anything. I asked him to be quiet, Judge. He won't play by the rules, so have fun with him. Yeah, that type of thing. You're like, okay. So you can't win. You're smart enough to know you get to leave the guy alone. Yeah, because you don't want him to withdraw. That's probably the next step. Excuse me. Yeah, that type of thing. Okay. Coffee. And you're like, all right. But you really, really like him. He's really, really cool. Especially when he cleans up pretty well. I mean, there ain't a lot of guys. I mean, if you're just into polar bears and all that, but if you get a few friends in them 12 tribes of Israel, you're like, hey, buddy. I mean, you're pretty cool. Right? Yeah. Way cooler than you. Yeah, you're like, man, I should have went to law school instead of doing all that donuts and circles up in the same town where they're gonna about ready to shoot you. Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, I probably should have went because you know, then you're like, okay, so what? Well, I missed that half-hour sleep, so I'm not as a little tired today. But she said, "What are you saying there on Nick? Yet that schnoz ain't getting any smaller, Bob." I said, "Well, there's no Pinocchios. It's just I think your nose gets a little bigger as you. They say your feet shrinks and then your nose must start getting bigger. Because I used to have a pretty nice looking nose even after. You know what I mean? This is that old Swedish schnoz I got from old hair. And, oh, she like chainsaws and you want a log splitter after. That might not be a bad idea. Get out of half the kingdom's hair for a few hours each day. Yeah, that'd be alright. Mm-hmm. Right there, get a little exercise, a little sweat. Yeah. And then you're like, okay. So what were we talking about? Oh, so it's Sunday and the guy, yeah, that type of thing. Okay. Are you ever gonna read that Bible? I don't know, really. Oh, yeah. So I wasn't hungry. It was pretty good. Beef. Oh, and so you understand that there's like snow out there and stuff. It's almost melted, and that means there could be a few extra bogeys on, and you're like, yeah, no, you want to be extra. You remember the Iron Mask guys? I mean, you might want to be extra careful for the next 3 months still. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, because they don't have to walk to that snow. Yeah, and so yeah, so I did. I thought it was, but I guess you're in the house. I think I was anticipating. I thought it was Monday. So you say, yeah, but it's not like one of those things where you figured out you already have one no contact order, so you don't want, even though you're just trying to get the people. emotion. You're pretty sure the next text is going to result in a fax of divorce and the kind of thing. And withdrawn from the case. And have a nice life. So you just, you let it go because you don't have boundary issues, do you? Nope. And so you call up out tomorrow. You're like, hey, it's been a few weeks. You had my stuff. Put it on my car. And you wait a few days and you're like, well, if you're not there, you're going to close shop for a couple of days. I know you're kind of slow, but you might want to put a message. Unless you're sitting there and you remember how we know, how everybody, and we can just turn that phone off when you get too far pocket there. So don't forget. Remember who started that? All that? Just starting to figure that out a little bit, but that was probably best. So we got a few. Remember them white ball? We got a few of them around too. Yeah. So you got to be watch your steps, son. You're like, okay. Mm-hmm. You're like, well, how come if they're sitting around realizing it's me calling, why didn't they put a message on there saying, hey, we're not going to be answering this phone for like the rest of the week because we're in business and all that. And so you start to wonder and you forget it's not Monday. So you do call on Sunday and they're going to, what is this going to sound like he's talking to us like we should be here? Yeah, well, because it was been since like last Tuesday, and you're kind of like, where's my stuff? I've been pretty patient, and now you won't answer the phone during the business hours, and I sent you an email. I don't like no contact orders, especially out of a company that I really, really like to patronize. And remember, I might know a few guys that like to do that too. You're only like one or two places to go. I get that, and don't want to piss you off, so I only sent you like one email. Check back every couple of days, but just it's like I don't know, you out of business because you don't answer the phone. You nothing online, nothing on the website. Like what's happening? Are you ever gonna send me my stuff? Because oh, half the kingdom, she's gonna start to wonder too pretty quick, kid. And if I get her on the horn, you thought old Bo was, yeah, man, yeah. I got to talk, yeah. So no, I'm just playing, but come on, why all this stuff? Well, it's a good question why that little bit of this here, little bit of that born off. It's kind of been going on all your life, and you kind of was that drinking guy that always get in a car with the, you know how many times I drove behind your daddy because he was one of them good old original kind. Yeah, he was half over there, but he could play golf. We kind of liked him. Like a whole bunch of people kind of liked him, and yeah, sure, he had that. Every once in a while, he'd really piss somebody off, but the most part, doing and look, he was building houses. It wasn't really his fault. And then that, you know, uh, wasn't his fault. He'd go to sleep and wake up with, 10, 15 naked ladies trying to feed him salad. I mean, and your mama was at work. I mean, what do you think a guy is supposed to do? So she got pretty pissed off, and he had no choice. And then that market went down. So, he's a pretty normal guy, right? But he out there, and you don't really know him. And you're like, yeah. So, and you're not him. Now, wife hates, she's always hated your guts, but she's got that the guy that's her father. She's got him because mama, see, she can get him to think anything. So that no matter what's true and what's not true, really, and he understands that, but at least he heard it one time. Even though she's got him convinced already, probably that you're still a problem, even last time, even though you never swore or nothing. Yeah. And so, what are you gonna do, son? And you're like, well, pray. I'd like to maybe start counting my calories just in case they find that one. That'd be a lofty goal. Just to make, just to kind of see if we can, we might want to start heading in that direction, but not quite yet, because, like I always said, I mean, if it's just me and Lewis and Mall books, I'm eating. There ain't gonna be no setups. You got enough accounting to do just to get a couple of pop cans going. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we gotta make sure that I'm gonna live first. Yeah. So you're saying, well, where's these Altamont boys? And you're like, I don't know, man. But you're smart enough in mind. So we're pretty sure you ain't mentally ill. You didn't go and threaten anybody from the Department of Defense. That was a good move. I'm glad you weren't that stupid. And you may want to buy something from them in the future. See, this is one of those pick you don't want to go and tell him that. No, well, you're not even really at that point. You're just kind of, okay, come on, man. What guys at? You said it'd be about a week or so. It's been a couple of weeks. And like, hey, where my stuff, man? You never know. We might go into World War III here. It's going to be getting hard to get them. You're only going to be delivering to certain places every once in a while. Can I get my thing here? Like, yeah. You do realize earlier, you're going to have to be a little more careful. We understand your restroom lavatory is out of commission, but yes, sir. You forget the cameras are always on, yes. But, they're looking for anything to use against you now. It's going to be a little tougher to frame you, but boy, if you get to slipping, I mean, it's not a bad play, but remember that double-edged sword thing you was talking about? Yes, sir. And you don't want to put a Oscar Mayer Wiener hot dog on a whole wheat bun anytime? Never again. Okay. And you don't like this hair, right? Nope. And you might want to find some guys that don't like that there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're starting to kind of wonder why allegedly that there might have been a dangerous weapon, too. You sure you don't? You want a Subway today, Nick? Sure. Veggie Delight double cheese. Um, but I like to surprise a member because when how I'm an equal booger opportunity guy and all that. Well, I got all them friends out there, and you get that technology, and so I like to surprise them. I go to I move around a little bit, because it'll take little tiny Timmy a few minutes to figure out where I'm, and plus he's got his own stuff. Yeah, I really have to be paying attention. If I'm quick, I can sneak in there and before you tell them to put the buggers on them. I can usually get in and out. As long as I don't know which one I'm going to. Yeah. Especially if it's like lunchtime or something, they're a little busy. It's a little tougher for Tiny Timmy to get to a tipping point. We understand. And, okay. But you want to make sure everybody knows there's nothing new under the sun, and you don't like that, and everybody likes naked ladies. We're trying to figure out where this dress thing and this sticks come from. Most guys that one there is a little strange to us, but hey, I mean, whatever floats your boat. The only thing I could think of is it's got to be it's got to be something in the wood in the stud. It ain't a pipe. It should be water. But how are they getting to the stud? It's not cold over there. But how did it get so cold? Because the crack in the floor, and it's hey, that's a new crack, and it's material. But that just you said, well, it's the pipe pump rubbing and expanding and contracting in the hole on the stud. And I think it's weird. And so you stood over there, it's not coming for the refrigerator. It keeps moving around. You see it ain't one of them Terminator Secret Service spiders trying to give you another carbuncle? I know. It's distracting. I mean, I could probably eventually, I suppose I had to tell I'm ready to tear it down to the studs, but had the kingdom. I'm gonna have to get used to it because I'm thinking, yeah, you want to call up your psychiatrist and say, hey, buddy, you want to help me figure out what this noise in the wall is? Yeah, he's gonna that's gonna get his attention. So you probably don't want to do that. I don't want I don't got money to pay, and they wouldn't tell me anyway. So you say, hmm. So how is it that you're gonna remember Oh, so like if you didn't have a bathroom upstairs and that one there down there is out, you'd have to be like you'd have to pretend like we'd either have to get it fixed real fast, right? Or you might just like pretend you might be up at one of the lighthouse fishing on Balsam Lake or like the 500,000 times, and that's why you should be a lost cause, probably because you was like the super duper fish fillet of all time since you was about this high. Yeah, that probably. Okay. Huh. Well, you do realize, Nick, I mean, pretty much everybody can fillet a fish like you, and you okay, fine, you did it when you're little there, but that's why I'm multi-talented. I can do all kind of stuff, maybe a little skill set in the math and sending rockets to the moon department, but I can figure a few things out, I think. And you sure you don't want to Subway today? No, well, actually, no, I don't think I do, because I had a couple. And the veggie delight, but you realize you're trying to see this Jewish Christian, and if you keep eating them, you're going to lose these Orthodox rabbis, right? Well, like I said, I mean, if it's just that chain smoking rabbi, show up, give it a little prayer, and look around and make sure there's no rat feces running around. He says, okay. Wow. So how do you get any kosher in that vegetables and flour? Oh, I mean, I know. Hmm. But if them are going to be the only other guys between your daddy is between you and the devil, you stop being respectful. We might be able to keep that old hole on the hall. You might want a couple of them guys saying, hey, I mean, this guy here's we got that thing called the Noahide law, and he seemed to be following them. I mean, you sure this guy's a lost cause? And you're like, hmm. And we did do that to him with the smart team, and we know he was clear, so we're taking a actual look here. Hmm. Okay. You sure you won't want a Subway? Not today, I think. I'll pass today. I'm not hungry. It's like I woke up. See, I ain't eaten yet. You say, you mean God knew what he's doing? You don't have to get up and eat every day? Well, no, I mean, my body will probably tell me when I'm hungry, right? You mean you won't get diabetes and all that? I hope we don't have to listen to all these commercials about how to get. You mean God knew best? Pretty simple, right? I mean, you wake up and you're not hungry, then you wait till you're hungry, right? And then you don't look like that fatso in and out of that little adolescent place, and you get this shower over here, and you don't have any parents. I know a guy named Gregory Troy too, right? I'm not making any allegations, but I'm pretty sure this ain't a weapon. I'm just saying. Oh, you had to say that again, didn't you? Yeah. because he was such a jerk, and then he tried to get money out of my mom as if he was gonna. All I did was call him a fatso because he lied to me and played me, and again, just another one and another one. So it's reasonable for you to understand why you'd be frustrated after all these years, where you didn't eat Subway back then either, didn't know. I just like well once every I suppose every no I don't remember how far back that go, but that was more of a recent maybe one time or something, and then you're like, but it was just then you started eating this Subway, and you're like, well, so it's reasonable again that you've had some frustration with some attorneys, and you're paying them good money, and you really, at first, you really like them, and you're thinking, I know I'm not going fishing, and I'm never going to be driving a BMW, but it's pretty cool to, I got to give you about $10,000. It's pretty cool to hang out with you for about 5 minutes and look at that cannon for 1 minute. And so, but I'd appreciate if all that stuff you learned at law school, because I had that gab bag, a few of them. Old Brockton Hunter, he never did that. Never. No, not once. He was always very thorough last week. But he's like, you was talking about them polar bears. You kind of nervous around them. Yeah. And so, it just ain't sure. So you would say in general, even though you have polar bear, you found that, well, not in the last 10 years, you have not had a real good experience with these full-blooded polar bears. I mean, we know that. But looking back, did you ever have these kind of problems with polar bears? You say, well, other than that Burgoyne boy, not really. And, Brandon, he was full-blooded polar bear. Uh, Kurt, I think Kurt was full-blooded polar bear. I could be wrong. There could be a little bit of something else in there. And so, but we're curious, like, so you see, you would, can I, well, no, you're tired, man. Wait, in order to get you was talking about that double-blind study. Yeah, we have various techniques to, how much sleep and different parameters we have to consider. We are professionals and we're the ones who have decided what is on that DSMV, and we've changed that. If you didn't know, it's kind of changed a little bit over the last 50 years. It's really changed recently. We just want to make sure we know you didn't vote for gay marriage and you get that button. We just want to make sure that you don't get any funny ideas, but thinking that we need to change that back. You're not in it's sort of about the duck, at least down that way. And so I think we can talk about that a little bit. Hopefully we can get you on your way. Okay. So if those rabbis that you said you wanted a representative sample of your accusers of the brethren, right? So if they call us up and say, we don't have nothing to do with that because he'll eat at Subway. You said, well, is there anything you want us to say to them? And you said, well, I went down to get that glut. You remember, I eat whole because to me, the most important, no matter what, is the meat. There's blood in there. And, as long as you stay away from that horse hoof and all of that, I mean, the guy got to eat sometime. Remember that. And they have that clause, like on the Sabbath, if they have to go boom, God forgives them because you say, hey, we're here to preserve life, and that's why we better bring in the SWAT team. But yes, so you was offered some meat yesterday, and they only had 1 pound, which was a little odd. Yeah. And they said, hey, but we got this organic stuff in Old Phil down there. He said, I mean, this is probably better than that anyways. And you say, no, wait, are you telling me that? Yeah. And then, of course, God provides. He always does. See, at the next place, God says, okay, we'll give him a few pounds. He said, And you understand that organic stuff, there's $10 a pound, and that kosher stuff you seem to be so obsessed with is 8. And we've got that other stuff that's only about 4. There's a reason that organic stuff costs more, don't you, boy? Mm-hmm. So why is so well, it's pretty important when you're dealing with blood and how they butcher it. So that there's there ain't no wooden nickels, which they're not really checking for that on that, even though they wouldn't find it really because it's that $15 organic stuff. And that is usually pretty good. Like, probably way better than that stuff. Depends on your perspective. I'm going with the Bible. I like that they do that real quick. And then they drain it and salt it and make sure they do it according to the Bible, and it just makes me feel good. So if I can get it, I do. So you're saying, like, well, then there was only 1 pound. Why didn't you go? Well, because I can go a ways without eating, and I do have a little bit, and I could not eat so much. And I got lots of fruits and vegetables, and you can always do the fish. Just about any fish up there in the package, it's got one of them I'll use on it. Plenty of that. You can eat that for a week or so until they get some more of that other stuff in. It just makes you feel better. Huh? Well, no, I mean, I'm over here in this here because if I got Get them guys want to stone me to death. Hey, I'm back over here with Corey, okay? But I just happen to enjoy that. No, I just think it's cool, and I feel like that's part of that Jewish Christian alliance. And like I said, if they ever did come to me and they proved this here, they had some documents, they could prove it in a court of law that that the Romans just did, that thing that the Jews were are accusing everybody of doing. That's why they're a little mad, maybe a little nervous, and calling the SWAT team. Perhaps, I don't know, but if you could, which I don't think you can, I think it's more along the lines of, like the Bible says, that God has allowed them to be some of the smartest people on the planet, but for some reason they just will not accept it. It's any way possible that Jesus there, because there was a few of them, that they just, most of them, until he come out of that sky, they're not believing yet. And I like to eat that meat. And they get this really cool packaging on the front and a bunch of stuff I can't read, but it looks cool, kind of like that cannon. And you're like, so I feel better eating that because I know it's butchered and prepared according to how they did it for about 6,000 years. And remember, there's that mystery meat stuff, and that they don't charge you $15 an hour for mystery meat, son. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Well, yeah, you could. You could get that Tiva. You could get them on the horn and put me in charge of the organic department. That's really, really expensive. You can't find a whole lot of people to buy it at that price point. I understand. I took a few business classes. Okay. So you are a Christian, Lord. Well, yeah, Jesus is Lord, I get it. But you think there might have been some Nazis that came along? There might have been some Nazis somewhere down that came along and they scared the hell out of some of your family, and they decided it might be a good idea to start eating pork sandwiches. It's possible. So that they didn't get put in that pizza oven? Maybe. But that don't really change the fact that we're about to fry each other up, and they got that nuclear atomic clock right there. And they say if one of those hackers actually, they could eventually, no matter who's carrying around that nuclear football, there might be a, and then on accident, and then everybody's like, well, if you're gonna fry us up, we're gonna fry you, and it's all kind of history after that. And you say they're saying that could happen like in the next 5 minutes, maybe? Could. I'm saying. And they get that red heifer all fired up. And you get that guy that likes buildings in the 999, and they want to give you the pills with the 999 and all. And so it gets real complicated. You ain't sure, because that Ivanka boy, she seems like a real nice person, don't she? Like, yeah, like you'd want her looking out for you, think, right? So you wouldn't want to say anything about a building, and so you just want to eat that. Well, my daddy says we always got to throw them off the trail, so we got to keep them guessing too. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I like to cover all the bases. I'm not being a phony. I'm just going with what I'm reading. I tend to be a practical guy, unless we're sending rockets to the moon. I can kind of read this. And you think a God that is fair, right? Remember, you don't need a PhD to do this. It's got to be fair. Not everybody can afford a Sergeant Becker to call him a pervert, especially, well, but you got that red string there. I mean, we just can't, the polar bears, they don't like that. But then you say, well, look at all them actors out in Hollywood and that. What, you mean them Iron Mask guys that was out on the golf course? Um, I didn't say that. I just said, so there's something to do with Rachel's tomb. We talked about that, didn't we? And there's something to do with the baby coming out, and they tried to get the red strip. All the hair was red back then, I guess, or red because of blood. Or I don't. And it went. They tried to get the string around, and it went back in, and then something came out, and then they tried to go back in, and so they put that on there to see who was first or something, and then it turned into be something about energy. Some covenant, like the energy from God to help with the evil eye, whatever that is. Oh, you mean Leslie? She gave you a little break. Oh, you mean, did she ever do anything nice? Yeah, there was that one time, and I'm still trying to figure out why she would do that. Well, you say her mother's last name was Oren, or adopted, right? Oren or something. Yeah, and that's kind of a Jewish sounding name, and you're like, so she gave you a gold necklace that you thought was really cool because it had this eye on it. It's probably in your mom's house somewhere, unless that guy stole it, or scabies. Next sister Dan, that boyfriend, that guy. Unless he got it, because I don't know where it went. But it was an evil eye, and it wasn't worth anything anyway, so I never would have pawned it. I mean, it's a little, and it meant more to me than that anyway. So she gave me a little eye, and then she said, "This is the evil eye. This is gonna help you ward off the evil eye, the evil." So I wore that forever. I don't know whatever happened to that. Might be at my mom's somewhere. So it's kind of along that line, and them polar bears, it really get them uncomfortable. And then you're not wondering why they started the BDS movement, are you? Well, I'm wondering why they're letting that Muslim lay there, and then what about me? Oh, yeah. It's a good point, son. So they say this has something to do with. So this one here, I've had this a while, so I'm behaving. Because what God does is like a covenant with the Israelites. Okay? I mean, this thing's been on here for months. I mean, like a long time. And you say you've taken many, many showers in the past, and these things like just dissolve or disintegrate somehow. Yep. And you're not doing anything different other than taking probably hotter showers because you do like that hot water and that nice pretty light up there. Yeah, because it reminds you of Grandpa's house. Yeah. Like going to the dam. So you're like, so why, if that hypothesis isn't true, that God, see, when God get mad at you, and so what they would do is say, hey, put that on there, and if it only lasts a month or two, you're doing something wrong. God is upset with you. Because under all things being equal, should last a while. And I'm saying it probably shouldn't have even lasted this long, and it looks like it's still Yeah, it's nice. It don't look like it's going anywhere. You're like, so let's get this straight, nigga. So you get this ridge drain here and some dude energy. And you're connected somehow to Rachel, the matriarch of the Jewish people and all this. And you get this here. As long as it doesn't come off in a week or two, but then when it do, then you can identify, hey, God might be upset about something. Pretty much. Hmm. Okay. Something along them lines. I don't know. But you do realize we've accused everybody of being in some sort of evil cobble that has one of those. And you see them, them Jewish guys with the box on the head and the black leather and no, not that grease that old Dave like to walk around with. And then if he get his hands around your neck, oh boy, you think wooden nickels tough, oh smack. And you're like those guys down there that didn't like you and they're part of that synagogue or what? You see any of them get that? Nope. But you're not really interested in putting one of them boxes and all. And you gotta wait 8 years to talk to any of their gals. And even though she sat next to you, and then even when she got accused of it, she tried to say, hey, I think he's ugly anyways. Why are you bothering me and him? Remember that old story? And then you're like, and they called us for him. So you're probably not in the market for one of them boxes on your forehead either, right? That'd be safe to say. Okay. Wow, this is, hmm. What's with the banging on the door? So, what you're saying is it sounds like somebody's keeps coming over thinking somebody's home and they're not answering the door. They don't want to talk to that person. Or they're refusing to answer the door, but there's somebody keeps banging it, and it probably don't sound like she's into woodworking. It's too loud to be working on her counter. You're going, yeah. So don't you have those boundaries issues? And you say, and you're mentally ill, right? So don't you want to go outside and find out who's banging on the door? And I'm like, no, I'm in here. It's fine. None of my business. It's just I was trying to. Same reason I'm trying to figure out that noise in the walls. They're moving around. Strange. I just want to concentrate on my studies here. But I don't like people to get. I don't know. I just thought it was an honorable mention. Hmm. Well, this is, I suppose, what are we in this morning? Oh, the day finally? Nope. Okay. How about we read from we're in Mark 3. Let's start a new one here.